Alrighty, hello there, folks. So, alright, been a minute coming here, but we've got a new mod. So alright. Just so you know, the full patch notes of this whole thing are kind of like a long text thing of all of the different changes. The long and short of it, there's new kinds of attacks, new kinds of things available for different classes, some better formations. Bear in mind that this mod, it's fairly young. By fairly young, I mean this thing is practically a fetus, or hell, looking forward to that day actually. To make a long story short, it's in 0.03 at the moment. If we're lucky, hopefully the folks that actually made the mod might be showing up in chat here. So hopefully that'll be the case. But yeah, if you've never played OB64, oh my goodness, this game is so freaking amazing. Like, I literally have just been going through this for the first time recently, and it is just... how did I ever miss this? It's so good! But anyway, so it's some of the best overall systems I've seen in the entire series. So just so you know, this might be the issue with the 0.02 version, or 0.03 version. There were some visual issues that ended up resulting from the most recent one, so bear in mind there will be some visual bugs. Apparently this particular glitch was actually fixed already. It's just that it hasn't quite been patched up in this one. Also, apparently the emulator does recognize it as its own version. So, I think we might as well go for the full-on dirty version from before. Funnily enough, the other day I was just kind of messing around with this, and realized if you give this guy the dirtiest answers possible, you are actually going to wind up with a situation where he's weirdly generous. So, what do you hold within your sword? Vigor. Sure, let's go with that. And what do you plan to sever? We're going to go ahead and sever silence with that thing, you know. That doesn't sound wrong at all. So, what are you going to ask the gods for? Let's go for strength, I suppose. Go for might. I suppose trust might be a bit more fitting in that scenario. And what do you offer? Gonna go ahead and get all lusty for the gods there. I don't really know how you're gonna offer that, but whatever. These are all default questions, by the way. None of this has been messed with. What do you wish for? Fertility, I suppose, since he's apparently trying to get it on with the friggin' Archbishop here. And, what are they gonna friggin' rid the land of? Honor. Yep. This guy sounds legit. Let's go ahead and graduate him. And who do you call upon for help? Obviously, they want the solid one. So, solid earth! And there we go. Calling on that solid earth. And there we go. We got a sweet rock ability. There we go. And yeah, he gives you a bunch of blessed stuff for that. Why exactly? I don't know, but you get like a bunch of upgraded dealies. Oh, actually, wait a minute. That's a little bit different from last time. I wonder if I answered it differently. So yeah, based on your answers, they'll give you a different set of starting equipment, which means different potential starting classes. The way that this game works is once you get a class, once you have the stats for it, you have to have at least one of whatever item they need to function. So, like, I think for a sword master, it's like you need some light. I think you need some cloth armor for them, a bastard sword, and I want to say either like a gauntlet or a headband or something. I'm not super positive on that one. Again, bear in mind this visual glitch. This is not normal. This is already this is basically already fixed in the next version. It's apparently 0.04 just didn't get uploaded right. And yes, this is real life, also WoW kind of a fantasy, because oh my goodness, this game is so dang good though. But yeah, so I absolutely love this intro montage. It's like, of all the entire series, like, God, it doesn't matter how dramatic they've gotten with some previous ones, this is the best intro just to any strategy game I've ever seen. Because here's the thing, I've mentioned before that FFT ends up taking a lot of notes from the rest of this series. So the intro cadet scene, it's basically like a boiled down couple minutes maybe of this. So like, or hell, practically a couple seconds if you skip through it. But this is where I'm like 99% certain here. This is where the cadet scene came from, because you have your thing like, oh, here's all your guys that you started with, and bear in mind, depending on your answers at the start, you're gonna have different units that end up joining you. So like last time I had knights in that party. This time I have doll masters in that party. And like they'll go through their whole intro montage and showing that they're going in training and everything else. Let's see, it was just on a stream, so I wasn't sure. Well, yes, this is part 2 of the whole thing. To make a long story short, I today was entirely on showing off all of these different mods. So since we got to 500 on the subreddit type dealing, because again, apparently we can't just call it the page or the Reddit, it has to be the subreddit. I don't know, it feels kind of hoity-toity, but screw it, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this is the last of the mods. So early on we had the methods for modding Knight of Lotus through codes. We had Ogre Battle Hard Type for the SNES version of, the main version of March of the Black Queen. We have, actually wait a minute, that came on the PS1 too. I was right the first time. We had Chronicle Valeria for the SNES version of Let Us Cling Together, as well as One Vision for the PSP version of Let Us Cling Together, which, again, cannot possibly recommend that mod enough. Just, good lord, every one of those, quite frankly. Every one of those, in all manners, just, if you love this series, if you love this genre, just go try them. Mr. Cow, by the way, I found that chip. Remember I was telling you I was looking for that chip a while ago? I friggin' found it, so as soon as I can get that thing to format properly, I'm gonna mail you that crap, because you gotta try these, man. Every one of these should be, to some degree, functional on your system. So, yeah. Bear in mind, OB64 here, it doesn't emulate worth jack for any reason. Like, PC is kind of your main thing for it. Apparently the Android version of Project 64, something happened to it. Because when I went and tried to get a hold of that thing, it just didn't want to function. I was told it didn't exist. So that's a bit of a shame. But anyway, yeah, for now we're just kind of going through the intro. Again, bear in mind there will be visual bugs. You know, I just kind of wanted to show all the questions live because, quite frankly, the sheer shadiness that you can potentially put together with those starting questions, just there's potentially some serious questions as to why they ever hire Magnus in the first place. But whatever works, you know? Anyway, so about to move, so hold off that until you're set. Oh, well, congratulations, I assume? I assume good congratulations? Good moving? Hopefully good moving. Yeah, Diomedes Rang, who will get pissed off at anybody calling him Diomedes from this point on, apparently. But alright. Yep, there we go. Like, oh, yeah. Like, this guy's your teacher. Just friggin' go insult him 2 seconds in. Great plan, great plan. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our peoples here. So, if we look through here, there are going to be a couple differences that we should be able to see right off the bat. Now, to explain what's going on, equipment got changed in general, like just as far as who's wearing what. The amount of attacks per turn ended up getting changed. Like, for example, these guys used to be half armor and short spear. Now they're half armor, iron helm, and short spear. Their equipment can't be changed. These other guys, if there are upgrades, they're able to change from it, but that is the bare requirements for them to even be that class in the first place. So anyway, that's pretty neat. Let's see, this guy looks about the same. Apparently, Balder, aka the Night Sword, is necessary. You can actually downgrade them to a short sword, interestingly enough, but you need at least the Balder to be able to make them into that class. Oh, by the way, something that I was wondering myself about this game. Don't worry, you don't need to like hoard things like an absolute crazy person. As long as you have one of whatever it is, and you've unlocked the class in the first place, like if you ever met the requirements to meet that to get that class, if they can be bought anywhere, you can just buy the items. So anyway, just to alleviate some possible worries there. I don't believe they had pointy hats before. I think they were just a buff item, so that should be a buff to these guys. Whoa, you're literally moving next door? How does that work? Literally the only time I've seen that happen. Also, I kind of find it a little bit funny that Magnus comes in with the metal bra. But, oh well. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like half armor, or more just like a breastplate. Like it says, you know, it's a breastplate. But yeah, we're gonna give him plate mail, because that thing looks like a metal bra. Always thought it did. Actually, a lot of JRPGs and SRPGs tend to do that. Where, like, they make the breastplate just like, oh, it's the you know, boob armor. It's like, that's not what they meant. They meant, like, the breast, like, the... whatever. the general chest-type area. Anyway, as far as changing classes go, here's typically how it works. So in the top right, you see like you have the different requirements. So on the top left, it'll tell you what they're missing in terms of stats. On the right, it'll tell you what items are required. Where it says price is if those things are buyable, it will tell you how much it costs to be able to promote somebody into that class. So as I understand, there's only one option to get a Dragoon in the entire game, and if you don't pick up that sword, well, you're never going to see that class, but it ends up unlocking if you end up acquiring that sword and also have the requisite other items. Okay, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, I think what we're going to do is probably just go ahead and go for the starting fight. I could go and optimize this party a little bit, but I think we're probably good to go. Alright, I don't have... Okay, in my other save file, I have it saved, so you just go to exit, and you're good to go. In fact, let's go ahead and set that up right now. Alright, where is my button? There we go. Alright, settings, message speed, fast. Cursor speed, fast. Game, friggin' fast. The battle animation's on, quick exit, very yes. That should be on by default. So yeah, if I'm recommending stuff in the mod, definitely exit out of menu by default. Because that's that I feel is an absolute must. Just because the menus in this, if I were to say one negative thing about the game, it would just be that the menus are a little bit of a pain in the neck to navigate sometimes. Especially when you're new to it, like they were kind of befuddling the hell out of me. And that's after you're friggin' like being with the series since I was a little kid, so I'm used to some menu jank, but that was something else. But anyway, overall, like it takes about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to get used to. It's a little bit unusual, but once you get what they're going for, it's a totally different story. So alright, here we go. So he's gonna go walk us through this thing. As per usual, it's like, oh, you know, go explore towns. This is the first don't go hold a bridge map for a very long time. But anyway, moving on from there. Let's see, house next door went up for rent as we served our 90-day notice. Interesting. That's convenient right there. Yeah, hopefully the price goes down there. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe a little bit less desert adventures. Hopefully. So you can handle a can to you? Yes, maybe I can. What's it to you? Diomedes, why are you such a dick? Yeah, literally 5 seconds into being given a new commander, I want to go stab the commander! So, I haven't gotten super far in this game yet. I've actually just gotten to Chapter 2. But, yeah, it feels like this guy's kind of like a create-your-own rival type of situation. It's a little bit like, well, a hell of a lot like Vice from Let Us Cling Together. He seems to just kind of overall be like, oh yeah, no, just I will do the opposite of whatever you say at all times. Except for that one time where he suddenly decides to be all heroic and crap. Alright, let's see. Tire actually, but hopefully in better shape. Oof. That sucks. Well, I mean, hopefully it's better. I will say, like, the funny California story. Dumbest decision I've ever seen happen, right? So I mentioned in the past, my mother's a bit of a lunatic, right? So back when I was still completely under, under their, what, friggin' care, command, whatever. While I was under them, they made the decision to go leave a place that was easily within budget. You know, we're at a place where, you know, business was going well, budget was going well. It's like, no, we gotta move to California. I'm too big for this place. So we end up, you know, moving over there. Friggin' rent goes up to like, what was it, like $2,800 for some piece of crap in the mountains. Like, we're talking a situation where it's like literally there's nothing redeemable about this place. It's maybe got a nice garden view, I guess, but tiny, crappy mountain roads, like friggin' run by absolute a-hole lawyers, and yeah. Like, just absolute dickheads, which is weird because they were civil rights lawyers, and still, despite that, like, literally every single possible thing that could go wrong with the place did. Like, we're talking a place where literally the second tour, for some reason it had 2 stories, despite being what was effectively a 1-bedroom place. Like, I had lived in the equivalent of a closet, and yeah, the friggin' second floor bathroom just like starts flushing into the kitchen, just like straight through the ceiling, and they don't see a problem with this. Like, oh, no, 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 it's fine, you're just flushing it wrong. Like, no, there should be no chance for that to happen. That's not a thing that happens. Alright. Let's see. And you'd need a moving vehicle? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's a problem, huh? Alright, I'm gonna move Dio over here. Just have him watching these trees here. Let's see if I can go pull up the notes real quick, just to start going over some of the different changes and stuff like that. Pull up ye old changelog here. So bear in mind, this is just going to be kind of like a bit of a text dump, admittedly. Actually, let's go ahead and give these guys a few more orders. So while this guy's going to move here, we're also... actually, you know what? Interesting thing is, yeah, you can set them to location, and then you can set them to 2 different locations. I'm trying to figure out why it's not letting me do that. There we go. So he's going to go there, and then he's going to go there. So this way, it will just basically plan out the entire fight while I'm going and doing this. So he's going to move here, and then he's going to move here. And then this will allow them to mostly clear out the entire map. Good, so you move here. I absolutely love this feature. Apparently it's something that you could do in the SNES version as well, but I wasn't able to figure out how to do it earlier today. So if anybody happens to know, please do tell me. But yeah, you know what? I will say, if you ever need a moving thing, it may seem like a strange thing, but from what I've seen, those $20 U-Hauls, like, they are pretty friggin' decent, all things considered. And yeah, so just like in what's it, March of the Black Queen, you end up fighting items. There's actually some bits of randomization to it. So you can get a potentially almost random run at times. Once you check in there, then you're going to go there, and then you are going to regroup over here. So you can set up to 3 locations for them to go to. God, I love that feature so much. So your current house has no lights in the bedrooms, half the sockets don't work, the AC doesn't work, the dishwasher doesn't work, and sometimes an alarm goes off. They can only be turned off by flipping the breaker, and our mailbox is still broken. So it'll be real hard for the new house not to be better. Holy crap, dude. Man, that sounds like a crap hole. So you can walk to the new house? Yeah, true. But okay, so far for visual glitches, again, I know I've said this before, but just since I see somebody else just joined in, bear that in mind. Just bear in mind that you know, it's not exactly a super ideal situation here. It's gonna be missing some stuff in terms of display. I need to remember to switch these guys' formation, because these guys are not well formed right now. Actually didn't check on any of the formations, to be completely honest. Go. Stab, stab, stab. Oof. That's, I didn't know that he went and started with that right off the bat. Anyway. Let's go over the different types of classes and, well, different changes and everything. Because it's literally just like a list of hex codes and what he's done to them. Holy sweet Christ. That is a much longer list than I thought it was. Hang on. Alright. In no particular order, well, mostly just going from the bottom here. Molska's been liberated. Fantastic. We found a boulder. Nifty. Actually, let's let's edit you real quick. Just before anything else. Because that formation is some garbage. There we go. Let's move you here, move you here, move you here. Basically, instead of having, like, 5 slots on each side, you have a bit of a different situation where you've got 9 slots, and yeah, you can't put anybody in the middle. You gotta kind of line them up like this. So there we go. That should sort their whole situation out. And now they will just continue fighting. We should be good to go from there. So, Abyss, let's see. Abyss is a magic rear attack now. The area is random and a multi-hit move. See, Abyss Effect is an attack spell. Abyss Effect modifier is 25 resist bypass. So presumably that doesn't cause sleep anymore. I mean, I can kind of understand that. It does appear a little bit broken in my current Mosquito run. The magic missile type is magic and rear, virtue, and is an attack spell. Because yeah, for whatever reason, the magic missile thing, which has been light element throughout the entire series, is weirdly just kind of neutral, I guess. for whatever reason. Anyway, let's see. Throw a Kiss from a Gremlin is now rear magic is Flame is single target. Let's see, is attack spell with a modifier for 100% success chance. Throw a Kiss from a Fairy got changed to Magic Rear, Virtue, it's a, let's see, single target support healing ability, so presumably it's still going to do the same thing. I'm thinking of these changes. Okay, yeah, a lot of these are just going to be going through different stats and all that, so let's just say, first of all, it looks like almost all classes got their stats either upped or corrected. So, like, for example, I know there was a discussion over archers because they were pretty surprisingly underpowered. I honestly thought it was going to be a discussion, like, when I saw the discussion going on, it was, for example, stuff like they were saying the archer there, and I was thinking it was going to be like Knight of Lotus. I was like, oh, it's a little bit underpowered, and their whole thing was just they were super accurate, they just didn't have very much damage. But anyway, no, apparently it's, like, the archers really well and truly are quite weak. So much so that even fairies were pretty much dominating them, so, anyway, moving on. So, hello there, Mr. Blasticator. Is there supposed to be a hallway here, so the patch mostly rebounces? For the moment, yes. Bear in mind, it is in 0.03, so it's like, they've gotten a whole changelog together and all that sort of thing. They regularly accept new ideas, by the way, so I'll be including a link to the Discord. So if you want to go and join that thing, it's basically they're constantly looking for any ideas people have, however out there. They're basically testing everything just to see what sticks. There's a lot of just like a lot of cool stuff that people have come up with. Just again, it's regularly changing. These visual glitches, by the way, this is something that was already fixed in the current version. As I understand, the current version was just having a bit of an issue uploading, so stuff happens. So, anyway, so that should already be corrected. So we should not be seeing that kind of thing moving forward. Anyway, let's see, need more cow units? There might be some? I don't actually know. There's been all kinds of units that I wasn't quite expecting. Alright, let's have you maybe move forward a little bit. Just go here and here. There we are. Figure these guys should hopefully be doing it okay. Anyway, so, a lot of the changes, aside from rebalances, there's a lot of equipment changes that have been added in as well. So, for example, as I mentioned earlier, soldiers start off with a proper helmet now instead of just armor and a spear. Many of the defaults have been changed to something a little bit better, so you might see overall competence going up. In terms of just equipment, you're seeing more units coming in with, more options in terms of their equipment. As far as how far they're going to be able to take that, I don't know quite yet. But yeah, the latest patch apparently does fix the visual glitch. I've been told to just kind of expect this, because it's kind of quick and dirty because it's early on right now. But definitely expect this to be looking better pretty soon here. Again, that particular one I was specifically told was just like a here and now kind of thing. Specifically, I saw him saying it last night that somebody reported this kind of glitch, and he was saying that, yeah, it shouldn't be happening in the current version. But anyway, let's see what else here. Let's see, trying to look through here to see what kind of stuff I recognize. Because to be frank, I've just recently started. Despite knowing a whole lot about the rest of the series, I've only recently been going through OB64 for the very first time. So, huge fan, but I may not know everything about it. That's why I was hoping that the mod folks would be able to be here this time. I don't know if they are. It seems like we got a good few folks in the background here. So, well, it's 2 o'clock, so now's when I would assume they'd be coming in. Have some of that delicious coffee. Alright. But yeah, so, good bit of rebalances, and again, just to clarify, the idea is that they're taking the classes that, that maybe needed a little bit of work, going ahead and giving them a little bit of a buff. All the ones that were a little bit OP, they were trying to go ahead and fix, and the usual kind of common sense rebalance type of thing that you'd expect. The usual kind of mods that I like to try and show off. But yeah, if you have any, suggestions, issues, whatever else, actually, screw it. Let me go ahead and get the Discord link right now. I've actually got it right here. So while these fights are playing out, that might be a little bit more useful for folks than just rambling on like an idiot now, huh? Make no mistake, I am an idiot. But well. Yeah, it's gonna go ahead and have some audio jack while I do that. There we go. It's technically called Hammer 2 Fall. I like calling it Hammerfall, just because I really like that. One song. Actually, that one band. What am I saying? All right, let's go ahead and pause this. Get Magnus over here. He's getting a little bit tired. There we go. He probably wants to go take a nap, but I want him to go deal with these things. So there you go. I just posted the link to the Discord there. So that'll have the most current build versions and all that, so that would be this one at the moment. I would expect that the corrected version should be up before the end of the day. I just really wanted to do this whole thing today, since I'm going on a little bit of a Thanksgiving trip of sorts, and go see some family and all that kind of thing. So yeah, gonna be out for a little bit under a week, more than likely. So you play this game while eating? Yeah, God, I love this game so much. I just absolutely love it. I mean, like, when I first got into the series, it's funny because the very first thing I ever played in what I consider to be this series was FFT, because I was sitting there and I was going to go on a bit of a family trip, and so I had some money saved up, and I basically had a choice of like, okay, I want FFT and I want Tactics Ogre. I really like these two; they look really good. I didn't know what it was about strategy games specifically, but I just really liked them. So, without any real further thing, I just thought, okay, I really want to get a hold of one of these two. And so I'm looking, and sure enough, there's both of them out at the same time. Funnily enough, I hadn't heard of Let Us Cling Together on the PS1, because I probably would have snagged that one, and probably would have made a pretty penny off it nowadays, but oh well. Anyway, so, sitting there, and thinking, okay, you know what, I'll go find one of them. So I go to the store and go to EV Games, and it's like the only place I know of that seems to have everything. And I keep going and going and going and going. No time that I go there, have they heard of the series? Have they seen it? Have they done anything? Just nothing. Let's see, can't use Twitch to Discord links, they don't work for me. Crap. Well, I'll PM you the link. Hang on. Okay. I'm gonna go and PMing the link in the background. Bear in mind, it will have some audio jank for just a sec here. So while I go ahead and do that, apologies. And there you go. So yeah, they're very friendly over there, they're very nice folks, they're, everything's fair game. So just keep it positive, but yeah, I really like the energy over there. It's good stuff. So, hopefully that all goes there. But anyway, so, I go into playing FFT and absolutely love it, and so, I'm still wondering, what's this other game? It looks so similar. I definitely want to get a hold of this thing, and kept looking and looking and looking, and it took me like 2 more months. Until finally, I get my brother to go bring me to the store there. Or no, not my brother, I get my dad to go bring me to the store. Go to the one in the mall, which I figure, okay, that's the one that surely has to have everything, and go figure, like, back in a tiny corner, there's exactly 1 copy. And good lord, like, even after just finishing FFT, like, the week prior, that thing blew my friggin' mind. Like, it was a Night of Lotus that I ended up picking up, by the way. Like, I didn't know any of the rest of the series, but I was looking at it, and something about the art style, something about just everything about it, like, from the way that the portraits looked to the way that everything was presented, it was, like, I don't know, it just kept nagging in my head there. So anyway, I ended up picking it up, and I ended up, it's funny, because as a little kid, I kept lending out money to friends and then just charging interest, and that's how I ended up affording games. Because, well, typically it was something like, I would be given lunch money, because I was sent to this kind of overpriced private school, where I was supposed to go and learn to be a good Christian, and all that, some such. But anyway, yeah, that literally, I was groomed from when I was a little kid to be a good little slave to my mom. It sucked. It was really stupid. If you ever have, you know, toxic parent that does that, ugh, god dang, once you realize that the hate is real. But, any anyways, so, you know, I finally managed to afford this thing, and I probably didn't put that game down for years. Like, I would just do run after run after run, would beat the thing, would go back and do some challenge run, you know, would go and try to find all the little hidden pieces here and there. And it just... Once I finally found out that there was a whole series, like, I was so into that, you have no friggin' idea. Like, okay, I didn't even know about the PS1 version of Let Us Clean Together. I didn't know about March of the Black Queen. Because from what I had seen at the time, and when I was looking at forums at the time, I thought it was just, you know, it was just some Japanese version that never made it to the States. And had mistakenly had believed some guy at the time who said, oh yeah, no, Night of Lotus was the remake. They're like, oh, it's some remake of some old game, and this other one's just a copy of FFT, and you should never go try it. Because reviews at the time absolutely trashed Let Us Clean Together as a FFT copy. And as I was saying earlier today, it's the one that inspired FFT. It's like literally the same people that made it. And oh, it's just such a friggin' bummer. Like, it got ruined so hard for such a stupid reason. Because some a-holes didn't want to bother to do any research whatsoever on it. Let's see. But what I thought was AC1 once, since that's what the case looked like, but it was a different game, so I took it back. I think I know which one you're talking about too, because I had a similar thing. Was it some weird shooter thing? Like, if it was a really weird shooter-looking situation, then I think my brother and I might have made the same issue once. Except luckily in our case we just rented it instead of buying it. But alright. So any dang ways. So, you know, once I find out about the PSP remake of Let Us Clean Together, I'm thinking it's the only way to actually get a legit copy. Which is hilarious, because it turns out that to this day you still cannot get a legit copy of Let Us Clean Together without friggin' forking over your kidney to go and get that thing on the PS1. Like or SNES. Both of those are just rare as hell. Oh, definitely do not overwrite Steve. Okay. Actually, don't save whatsoever, because this run is not going to get saved. Almost deleted it out of habit. Okay. Can I change anyone's class out of curiosity? Alright. We've got some new classes available. But yeah, it does not look like... Oh yeah, so right here. So we have Valkyries, right? So as you can see right now, on the top right, it says buy for those things, so I have an extra shield in stock, but it would take $400 to actually promote them. She doesn't have the stats to do that, though. So just a little bit of a neat thing about this system. Yeah, Beast Tamers would need a whip and an amulet. Why they need that amulet, I don't know. Like, it's weird because I never Oh, the point I was trying to get at here. I never understood the class system that they ended up using in the PSP remake until I played this game. Because, yeah, what they tried to do was kind of a similar idea, where it was like you just required those items, but it was like somebody went in and they misunderstood it as, like, you literally just needed the items and not the stats. So what they... his name is Dick. So what they did is literally just that, just like, you need... like a pack of items for that particular class. So, kind of a bummer, you know? Bit of a bummer there. Because yeah, they changed it to you just need a license to go get that class, and let's just say it wasn't an absolutely ideal system. I guess, really, there's only so many ways you can handle a thing when the entire class levels at once. And even then, I think what they tried to do was kind of an idea. But just to point out, like, the idea was supposed to be that you can keep bringing in new units and new units and new units, and they're judged off their skills rather than their level. But then they forgot about that when balancing, and then they didn't go back and rebalance it, which resulted in just you had some really overpowered classes and some really underpowered classes. So, yeah. Anyway, back on the topic of this mod, though. Let's see, why do you not have more units in your squad? You need to fix that. Yeah, you may have already noticed that we're definitely seeing a lot more actual. Yeah, let's chuck you back here and you back here. But we're definitely seeing a lot more, I would say, generalized competence out of squads, at least as far as I've seen. So, seeing a little bit higher defense, I would think. There's a few that get a few different attacks, but yeah, anybody that wants to go use that link, it should be unlimited in terms of how many people can join up to it. It also seems like maybe there might be more opportunities for Centurions. So Centurions are a class that interestingly unlocks after somebody has gone and promoted several soldiers. So you may have noticed all those little grunts hopping around looking like Ewoks. Well, after a little while, namely after they fight, I would say like a dozen battles or so, each battle, for every one of those soldiers that survives, you end up getting a little bit of experience. You get one per surviving soldier, I believe. So I believe the maximum that you can possibly get should be 12 per battle. If everybody survives, if everything's going great. Training does not count. I haven't shown off the training system yet, but training does not count for that. But it's basically what this game puts in to allow you to train up your rookies in a safe environment. And yeah, this is the best version of a training system I've ever seen. This is the best version of just a generalized, team management system I've ever seen. It's so much better than it has any right to be. Seriously, it is surprising how good this is. Every single time I boot this thing up, and this has happened every time that I've started the game at all. Bear in mind, I'm going through the thing, literally playing under one of the dumbest challenges that many folks have ever heard of, and still, despite that, it's still managing to be hugely entertaining every single time. Something that literally folks were saying, yeah, no, this challenge seems so stupid, it's probably impossible. You're literally just probably going to run around doing 1 damage to stuff for a friggin' hour, and even under that circumstance, it's still fine. It's still fun. How often is a game so good that you can literally run around doing 1 damage to stuff and not even care because you're having a good time? Not very often, I tell you that much. But yeah, it's only literally the main problem that it has is just the fact that it came out on the N64. And if you want to know a real tragedy, it's the fact that they actually did make a port of this. And you can get it. You can go ahead and buy it for $10. You know what the thing is? You need a Wii U to do it. So, props to the 5 people that have a Wii U at this point, because, yeah, those things didn't sell worth a crap, and unfortunately, many people thought it was just an upgrade to the Wii instead of, its own console, which is really kind of a shame because it did have some interesting games on it. Come to think of it, I should probably check out. So we're going to go visit some relatives over the course of the next week or so, and you know what? They had a Wii U. And you know what? I don't think they ever friggin' use it, is the thing. And, Dude, I should totally ask for that thing for Christmas. Like, hey, it's collecting dust. And I have some crazy, rare friggin' game that I've been wanting to maybe play on something other than a PC. I wonder what the odds of that working are. But yeah. So, let me go ahead and double check here. By the way, actually, yeah, everything does seem to be visually kind of okay. I think Twitch's analytics stuff might have potentially broken again, because it's just stuck at exactly the same amount this entire time, which basically never happens. People come and go all the time, and on one thing it's showing like 9 people, on the other one it's 4. Either way, doesn't matter. Hell, it might be 0 for all I know. Like I said, stuff comes and goes. Alright. Ooh, looks like some folks might have gone in and joined the Discord. Well, hello there, new folks. Yeah, Blasticator, hello there. Good to see you there. And, Rasamakis. Glad to see people are coming in. It's good to see you guys. But yeah, so if you want to be part of this mod, want to see, all kinds of cool stuff that they're doing, go ahead and join it. And yeah, Mr. Cow, I think you might have some fun there as well. Because, hell, you might even get them to put in a cow unit, for all I know. I mean, Honestly, as far as mechanical limitations go, the funny part is it's almost been universal. That for every one of these games that gets a mod, there's usually room for exactly 2 classes for some reason. it's always something to do with weird engine limitations, but it's just yeah, it's always like exactly 2 classes somehow. So we'll see. We'll see. I wonder if it's possible to find the codes. There was some guy that managed to put together some codes for Knight of Lotus to add in some custom units, but I don't know whatever happened to that guy. It was like the one time I thought that there maybe was a chance for a full-on mod coming out for that, but I haven't. I don't even know if what he said was legit. He just said he could do it on some forum. Oh, by the way, another cool thing. I think I've posted it in literally every place where I posted this. But dude, Johnny Atma put together a really good metal cover of the battle theme from this. Let's see, like tater tots and mashed potatoes? How dare you mash my potatoes? Yeah, no, mashed potatoes are freaking amazing though. Yeah, hopefully you have a bit of a happy Thanksgiving planned. I hope. So yeah, Mr. Parker, let's have you go ahead and guard this town right here. There we go. But yeah, so it's funny, we're having Thanksgiving Part 3 pretty soon here. We had one Thanksgiving last week. Well, we had 2 Thanksgivings last week, actually. Like, we had one with the close, what's... This technically both are equally close family. Just like everyone's available on different days. So like, okay, you guys get one group of food. We'll make another set of food for these guys. Then I will take my chunky self and go ahead and eat all of it. So, long story short, I've been shoveling my face like an absolute psycho for the last few days. God, that cannot be healthy. But hell, you know, I've been trying to jog around more to try to make up for that horribleness. I'm gonna have Parker go back to trying to defend that HQ. I don't know if he's gonna be able to make it though. Yeah, so I'm gonna have her try to intercept her. There we go, so just chase her down. In fact, you know what? You just... yeah, if he makes a beeline for the town, he should make it. It's funny because I wonder if this unit right here is to introduce you to the fact that you end up potentially losing if they take your stronghold. This is literally one of these cleric units did this exact same thing last time. It's funny stuff. So you have nothing planned as a Thursday? I guess so. The metal cover on YouTube? Yes it is, Mr. Plasticator. And it's funny, I have it, I think I have it on the Palatinian media section of that Discord. I think it's there? Not super positive. It might have moved around. But let's see. Has he been bedridden for the last few days? Well, crap, that's depressing. Are you feeling okay? Doing alright? Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully you're feeling better. That's a real bummer, man. Sorry. Sounds like stuff's pretty friggin' harsh over there. Hopefully, hopefully it all improves soon. But here, let me go ahead and put that cover on real quick. Actually, I'm gonna post the link and I'm gonna put it on there. Okay, go to YouTube. Your TubeUbes. Actually, I think I had it in the Armored Core one too. I'm sure there's somebody questioning why I put something that isn't AC in the AC section, and it's because it's an equally dead series that wants love. That's why. Is Thanksgiving Thursday? Yes, it is. Yes, it most certainly friggin' is. Wait, there's something here. Got some hard leather. Nifty. Yeah, leather's a funny thing. Because it's one of those things where, technically, historically speaking, there's little evidence, aside from, well, for a mainline armor anyway. There is evidence for it being as, you know, like an accessory that might help kind of situation. Like, you know, on the arms or legs or something. But yeah, no. Apparently it's actually possible that it was more prevalent than may seem reasonable. Alright, Anna back. Sorry about that. Suddenly, mail arrived. Wasn't expecting any packages today. But alright. Never know. Christmas just has a way... No, they captured our strongholds. What actually happens when they do that? Oh, it is actually game over. Oh! Interesting. Okay, so apparently Lucked and this do use the same game over theme. So whatever. I'm kind of curious. Let's go ahead and load up Steve and see what happens when Steve goes ahead and gives this a little bit of a try. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Because I didn't actually show off the whole training mechanic like I said I was going to. Because I managed to go ahead and lose it super quick. Oh man. That means that thing was like literal pixels away from ending the Steve run friggin' 4 games in. God dang. That was friggin' close. Ever played Portable Third? Hell yes, I have. Oh wait, you're... Sorry, I missed Blasticator's message. Yes. So yeah, Mr. Procow is friggin' like baller as hell for Monster Hunter there. He actually had a whole bunch of videos going up, which, for whatever reason, some reason YouTube ended up getting all super weird about that. It's okay. Oh wait, crap. Super broke. Okay, this isn't going to count as part of the run, by the way, because I want to go ahead and just sell some stuff to show off some stuff, just to see what's new. Just to see if maybe we can see some more classes coming out there. So yeah, let's go ahead and sell some of these things. Especially this, because that gives monies. And there we go. Man, this feels so wrong right now. I'm just selling all this super expensive stuff. All the stuff that I definitely would need. This is, of course, when I managed to probably run into some never-before-seen encounter that makes somebody into a superhero, but whatever. Okay, let's take Barbara. She's probably the worst unit here. See what she runs into. Okay, so apparently there's visual issues with the background here too. But here's how it works. You basically are super limited in terms of your money, right? You just get a bonus based off how well you did that fight, and then that is what you have in order to prepare for the next one. So you can spend part of it on training. Like, some of it you can spend on equipment, some of it you can spend on consumables, and then you can spend the rest on training. So like you literally just kind of place a bet, like, oh yeah, I think I'll be able to win using this, that, or the other. And so then you place a bet, and if they win, they get the experience for it, and everybody moves on. If they don't, you basically just wasted your money there, and you probably want to put them in a better team. Okay, so Abyss seems to do the same thing, unless something's... Wait a minute, what? Lightning? Oh wait, no. Okay. Fairies and everything else seem to be functioning about the same so far. But alright. Yeah, training in the dark, exactly. This is how we make sure that they can target everybody even when the lights are out. Preparing everybody for that night raid. Fairy Team 6. Let's see, you can Twitch Monster Hunter without issue. True. You start, then try Ultimate, then into 4 Ultimate, and lastly Generations. But yeah, this is usually like a kind of like a castle training room type situation, and then the battle just keeps going until somebody wins, which is hilarious because it turns out the fairies are actually really OP for training because they'll keep throwing out buffs. And oh, that's the difference here. Throw Kiss actually gives a really reasonable heal now, so they're a proper healing unit. Okay, I can't believe I missed that. Yeah, no, normally they do like friggin' 4 health, but they end up healing, which is kind of completely pointless, because what's that going to do? But yeah, they have a proper, like, 20 to 30 heal by the looks of it now. Oh wait, no, it might be randomized, actually. Unless... wait a minute. What the hell file did I load here? No, that's not Mosquito. Never mind. Okay. There was a unit that I was messing around with for the sake of testing for this mod, and never mind. I thought I was maybe I messed up something and used one of them by mistake. That's not the case. Ignore my comment. Let's see. Play 4X games. Is that to Mr. Pro or to me? Because funnily enough, I like to play spin-offs of 4X games. I mean, I like some versions of Civ, if that counts. But generally speaking, like, every time I've tried to get into one of the space ones, like, it's funny, I played Sword of the Stars The Pit first, and I absolutely loved the universe of that, so I went back and, picked up the entire Sword of the Stars collection on sale. It was just perfect timing on that. And yeah, no, it wound up with a situation where I just had literally no idea what was going on. Let's see, played some Sins of a Solar Empire. Actually, that, I believe, might still be for going on for free on Humble Bundle if you're looking for 4X games. Yeah, let's see. Okay, this may be utter blasphemy, but I really... Okay, I didn't like Civ 5 very much, but I did play it a fair bit. Civ 3 was really fun. I don't know about... Or no, it was Civ 4, I think, that I liked the most there. I really liked Revolutions the most. Like, the first Revolutions. Specifically the one with almost no graphics going on the 3DS, which, again, I know, blasphemy, but still. I really liked that one. And then Revolutions 2 came out, and that thing was such a pile of hot garbage that I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, Revolutions 2 on the Vita, specifically. Because, yeah, it was the only one that I was willing to shell out the $20 for. Because, quite frankly, I always use really budget phones, so there really was no realistic hope of being able to play that for any length of time without the stupid thing melting in half. I already made that mistake by buying, It's funny, I've bought XCOM Enemy Unknown on literally every device that will play it. Like, I have a version for the PS3 sitting on my shelf, I have a version on the PC, or actually I have both versions on the PC. I have the version on the Vita and the version on the phone. And yeah, the version on the phone definitely runs well considering it's a mobile port, but oh my goodness, like, my phone could not handle that crap. The thing friggin' up and died. Which, by the way, actually the one that I originally tried to run that on, as that thing, you know which phone I'm talking about, Mr. Cow. But anyway, let's see. Basil Goose from what? The Fallen Enchantress Legendary Heroes has mechanics similar to this. I've heard... Okay, I think that's one I looked at a little while ago. I think the only reason I ended up not going for it is because... Is it the one that's super anime looking? Like, the kind where you just feel like you should get friggin' gigantic eyes from even seeing the thing? Because to be totally blunt, I have a really hard time getting into stuff like that. And just because the visuals kinda... Despite the fact that like, my best friend growing up was, like, the weebiest guy you know, it's just... I don't know, there was, Actually, hell, two of my friends growing up were that way. I mean, we spent all of our times with... All of the time we spent watching shows was this weird thing, like one night we're just watching a marathon of different stuff. It's like we end up watching some random show, so his sister wanted to watch some reality show because everybody was cussing at each other. Then we watched DBZ, then I think Kenshin is the one that we watched, in which it just kept being super obvious that they're referring to the guy's, well, girlfriend type, love interest type character as a hooker, in ways that they were assuming were subtle, but really were not subtle. Like, oh yeah, go be a frickin' sheath, and they're like, we're just there giggling, like, yeah, they're talking about doing it. We were mature kids. Anyway. But any dangways, so yeah. All the time, you know, all the time, we literally just sat around just laughing at all kinds of weird tropes that came out of that. And so yeah, I don't know, it's weird that super Japanese stuff just, like, just doesn't click for me for some reason. I just immediately have this thing in my head, like, this is gonna get super cringy at some point, and it's gonna get really weird. You know, at some point somebody's gonna start doing some, like, really sexist crap for the sake of selling it. At some point we're gonna start having somebody going and, like, farting themselves to go win a fight so that they can win with honorableness or some crap, and that's not how life works, quite frankly. It's funny, because that's why I always liked this series, because they managed to bring in that kind of stuff where, you know, you've got reasonable motivations for people, and usually reasonable, well, semi-reasonable, I guess. Reasonable for the settings, ways that they approach them. Like, if you have somebody, like, let's say, some wandering swordsman kind of guy, almost every time that you run into them in the series, like, if they try to take on 50 billion dudes at once, it's like, okay, no, they're, you know, they're getting outnumbered. The fact that they're outnumbered, you know, is going to be enough to clearly put them at a disadvantage. They're not just going to, oh, I'm gonna try so hard, I'm gonna magically friggin' sprout 50 billion arms and somehow block 100 hits at once. Like, no, that's not how that works. Okay, so priests, or rather, early healers, looks like they get heal plus, or at least Katrina gets heal plus. This is definitely new. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm running training fights, this is why. I'm just going through and seeing what kind of new stuff is here. Let's see. But yeah, Ogre Battle of Forex mechanics combined. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give that a look. So yeah, probably gonna look at that after this. So yeah, probably gonna have a thing maybe next week of just like first look impressions of a bunch of SRPGs I've heard of recently. So there was somebody that was offering. Yeah, I'm really liking that heal plus, by the way. Definitely makes them a lot more useful. Liking the way they're targeting that too. But yeah, so like Fell Seal is something that's been very highly recommended in terms of being very similar to Tactics Ogre. So yeah, it looks like Fallen Enchantress is going to be something to give a look at. I've been told to try Brigandine, which I have attempted to, but for some reason the ROM was busted. Just because trying to find a legit copy is nigh impossible for, well, hell, the usual reasons. Which, funnily enough, if a device is unable to run a particular thing, apparently as of recent changes to copyright law, you actually are able to, as long as the device doesn't originally play it and you have no reasonable way to go get the original copy, which they didn't define reasonable, so that that's up for debate in whatever way you want. But yeah, a lot of emulation stuff just got thrown very sharply into a moral gray area in a good way. So just so you know, if you're ever worried about that kind of stuff. Let's see, it's on Steam, but you can also get it on GOG. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, I haven't really looked at very much. I've seen them vaguely because my cousin is really, really into that kind of stuff. Actually, we ended up playing, I think it was BlazBlue that we were playing. It was some fighting game. I don't know. It was very, very, very heavily stylized. Alright, so yeah, we got to see some of the new features here. Kind of going through, let's see, yeah, Phalanx definitely gets 3. I believe he used to have 2. That's a bit of an upgrade. Then again, I also don't know if maybe he just went up a level. Okay, what else? Yeah, they get healing. Ooh, clerics get Magic Missile now. So that's fantastic. Let's see, Katrina, why were you able to do Heal Plus? Yeah, you're still a cleric, so I think it might be a unique thing to Katrina. 7, 8. Yeah, it might be level 8 where they start learning some new stuff, maybe. If I'm wrong on that, I have asked the mod folks to come in and let me know if I'm wrong on these things, by the way. As of the moment, that has not happened, so either way. Love air combos? Yes, those are always fun. Actually, okay, funny story. So the other day, I get a call from my aunt, and they want to go buy something for some of the kids in the family for Christmas. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get this SNES Classic because she heard that I have one, or that we have one. Ooh, this guy has all kinds of new abilities. What the hell is evocation? How do I? Okay, I can't know what it does apparently. Evocation sounds like it's pretty freaking strong. Anyway, so. So she's like, oh, can you tell me where to go find one? Like, I think they're in the stores. I end up looking through, and yeah, no, they're not in stores as far as I can tell. Because, yeah, they were a limited run thing. So, so we're discussing that later, and it turns out that, yeah, she was intending to buy it for, I think they're now 2- and 4-year-olds. Like, okay, so they're probably not going to be, not going to be playing that too well. It's like, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So we did a bit of an experiment. So I broke that thing out a few days ago, and went ahead and, let's see. So you don't like turn order, I prefer to change the order of my unit actions, more of a Sky thing. Yeah, it depends. Personally, I'm a huge fan of, well, honestly, any of them can work right if done right. Personally, I like entire teams moving at one time. It's just, I don't know, it feels like it could be semi-realistic in that way. Real time has a tendency to really, really get abused badly. More on that in a second, though. So to finish that story, and why it relates to BlazBlue at all in fighting games, so, we try Mario Kart at first. We're like, okay, look, here's the controller, see if you can figure it out. So she's there, just like holding the controller, screaming at the screen, like, I wanna go! I wanna go! Like, you just push the button. So she pushes the button, runs into a wall, and you can't back up, by the way. You can't back up in original, like, SNES Mario Kart, apparently. So we're trying to show her how you're supposed to turn and press on the gas and awkwardly turn friggin' left to get off the wall. And she's just there screaming commands at the TV. Oh man, and that was the older one. So, that ends up being a bust. So finally, I was looking through the list, and I have like 140 games on that thing now. I went and put everything I could think of, including Chronicle of Valeria and Ogre Battle Hardtype and everything else I showed today. And so we're there, and like I'm looking through, and okay, Street Fighter. We're doing some Street Fighter. So we're like, okay, just press random buttons and go. Sure enough, they were playing Street Fighter. Friggin' 2 and 4-year-olds playing Street Fighter because all you gotta do is push random buttons. That was great. It was pretty great. Anyway, so back on the previous topic, by the way. So, like Mr. Prokow said about tactics here, that he likes some tactics there. Yeah, honestly, my feeling on the whole thing is just it depends on the game entirely. Like, okay, let's say as far as turn order goes, right? Look at the One Vision mod. All of the units and everything else, they are entirely going to be functioning, at the same speed. If you have one unit, odds are, unless you do something really weird to them, they're just going to be at the same speed. So, like, let's say you have a guy that's... Ooh, you know what? Actually, we can just glitch this out. Perfect. Okay, so this is a weird glitch that happens sometimes where, for whatever reason, you're able to get more than you actually have of an item. Apparently, this is something that happened in both this version and the original. I've been specifically told that, yeah, this just happens, apparently. Why? Who knows? I don't know. I'm sure somebody can probably tell me, but I certainly do not know. Yeah, this isn't a mod thing. This is definitely somebody definitely screwed up kind of thing. But you can have more items than you actually have of that item. Or rather, you can be equipping more of an item than you actually have. But using that bug, we should be able to keep on training. Alright. So yeah, we got infinite metal bras, apparently. Let's see, in tactics you can have floating frogs fight chickens. True. And that's the thing. And, like in FFT, that was a good example of active time, generally speaking, done right. There were definitely exceptions. Like, the overall system works pretty alright. I think the most satisfying version I've seen yet of that whole thing was the Cerebro mod. So that I've been covering that a few times now. Oh, wow, Abyss does a lot. Yeah, Abyss does a lot more than it used to. Anyway, so yeah, the Cerebro mod is probably what I'd recommend for that one, just because it takes all of the stuff that was good about the original system, all of the cool stuff that FFT 1.3 added, and then also came in with a few changes of its own. And it's actually one that's still in the works. So right now, it's not fully released yet, again, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, Magic Missile got buffed pretty okay here. So yeah, that'll probably be released, I'd assume, sometime within the next few months. But it's basically the best of all worlds, so if you love a good Common Sense mod, there you go. But yeah, you can have a bunch of shenanigans, you can have a bunch of stuff going on, but you also, at the same time, you still have a low enough number of units that it doesn't become a complete clusterfuck. The reason I bring this up, okay, so that the remake that I love to friggin' poo on a lot here, the Tactics Ogre remake, I had specifically that problem. Because in both versions, they had a problem where units would end up either... Well, it's not either or anything, actually. The first one had a problem in which they decided to add a type of item that would allow you to lower a unit's weight, which basically meant that they could act absurdly fast because your weight was tied to your movement speed, or rather your turn speed. So, for example, orbs were kind of given that whole thing because you were sacrificing one of your 4 slots in order to be able to use an attack item. But what this translated to was that you'd be able to you'd essentially be able to put 4 orbs on, like, let's say a fairy or something, and they would just be able to take turn after turn after turn after turn, and it just completely broke it. But that only was a bit of an issue because you could have, in the original you had 10 units on your team, or up to 10 units, and then in the remake you had up to 12, and then the other guy could have up to 24. So you could potentially have up to 36, sometimes there were reinforcements, so sometimes I think you could go up to 40 units on a map at one time, and if everybody's taking turns in real time, eventually somebody's going to end up getting completely lost in that whole mess, which is what the remake suffered from. You had several times in late game where you were just better off sending in people completely naked, because A, their overall vitality and things like that from the levels that they gained caused them to basically just caused them to be functionally armored by themselves rather than their equipment. So their equipment made very little difference, it was just a bit of a hindrance on them. And on top of that, they were really scared of locking away options. So literally anyone could be a caster, you just needed the books, which you could buy 99 of at any given point. And you just use those as an item, so there was no reason to use casters anymore at that point. And then you had pretty much all ranged weapons were super overpowered. So what the end result was a bunch of naked archers running around throwing Armageddons around. It was really weird. So yeah, and so what the One Vision mod did to correct all that is that they made uniform stuff throughout the entire game. So, like in the original, you had heavy armor, right? And you start off, you just had basic armor. So like you had mail as your first one, and then like let's say its weight was like 4 or something. I think it was like 4 to 6 or something like that. By the time you got to the very end, you were getting stuff that was up to 18, meaning every time that they moved, every time they took an action, that was the score that was added in order to count down until their next turn. So by the time you ended up getting that high, you just basically were better off not wearing anything at all. Any dangways. So it was a bit busted in many ways. There were many times where if you tried to go in using standard equipment on people, you just kind of wound up getting multi-turned over and over because they had fairies and gremlins and stuff, and they would come along, and they would just charm everybody. Just go around using Bewitch on everybody. And God forbid you didn't go out of your way to craft a bunch of the really annoying to craft item that allows you to get rid of Bewitch, so, you know, enjoy being completely screwed then was basically the situation. By the way, right now I'm just kind of going through and testing if any of these units are going to do different stuff. So after this fight, I'm actually going to go to different areas and see if we can find new stuff to train against. So we'll do that at that point. So, sorry for kind of doing the same thing over and over. Let's see. But yeah, like in FFT, it literally only worked because there were so few units, so you're given a little bit more leeway. Unfortunately, even one stat can really make a difference. Like, I think Mr. Cow, I think you were there when I was testing the Cerebro mod, and there was a case where the Gaff fight, where at one point the new standard for lightweight hats in that one became the Green Beret, which causes speed to go up by 1. And that difference of 1 speed was enough to make the fight really, really RNG heavy. Like, even first time through, I got amazing RNG, managed to roll, like, I think 3 20% getting their guys on my side. And even despite all that, I still ended up losing all my units and still wound up having to rely on those AIs to try and finish it. But unfortunately, they were too stupid and failed and ended up having to do that fight like 7 more times. Because yeah, that speed was the big difference there. And ultimately, I did manage to win it, and he actually went through and nerfed that hat, so it was given some kind of different effect. I think it was like +1 jump or something, rather than +1 speed, and it became a lot more manageable. Like the fact that they could multi-turn you over and over, like especially if a time mage got a haste off. There were 2 time mages specifically hasting each other over and over, and slowing your team. So at that point, they start getting 3 turns for every one of yours, and it's just, it's a complete clusterfuck by that point. Let's see. Like the alignment system March of Black Queen makes things interesting. Yep. Oh yeah. By the way, Mr. Procow, I tried to find that weird purple beam thing you were talking about. I have no idea what that was. Because I went through earlier, tried to find it, no idea when it happened. So maybe you'll have a bit better luck on that. But anyhow, so yeah, the alignment system, it actually applies in this one too. It just functions a bit differently. So in March of the Black Queen, it was just anytime you fought a lower unit, your alignment started dropping based on the level difference between the two. In the case of OV64, it ends up just when there's kind of an average. So at the end of each fight, and bear in mind I may be understanding this wrong, but at the end of each fight, it averages the overall alignment of or alignment tendencies of your different classes. So for example, this one, 4 of these units I believe count as lawful. 1 of them counts as chaotic. So it would end up counting 80% towards lawful. And then also, based on how many units were defeated on the opposite side, it would count the same towards them, and then basically like average it up or down based off of the circumstances. That may seem very strange, but basically before, if you ever accidentally over-leveled your guys, like if you had one guy that was suddenly stuck defending a town for a very long amount of time, you just basically had to go shelve that guy for a while if you didn't want the bad ending, because suddenly their alignment would drop like a friggin' rock, and if you ever had them, go and accidentally liberate a town, like if they were the only one that could do it, people would just hate you because they're like, oh crap, they're here to take over, instead of, oh yeah, they're saving us. It's a very interesting system. I really like it. But yeah, you could potentially screw yourself with alignment very easily in that game, which is, I kind of prefer the system in this one. It's not ideal. They said that they have some ideas for fixing it, but yeah. And yeah, Armored Core, yeah, that's another one that's, yeah, Mr. Cow here is one of the big experts on AC. Personally, I'm a really huge fan of it. I just really like doing challenge runs of that one. Oh, good. Dollmaster, here we go. I was kind of hoping to find the Dollmaster and Zombie that we fought against last time, but I wonder how they do. And that's basically what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to find different units that we haven't fought before, see what kind of new stuff they end up pulling out. But, yeah. See, when you were on the higher floor, yeah, that was about the second half of the fight, I believe. Anyway. So yeah. Being able to actually balance a real-time thing is a little bit of a challenge. The speed is really the one thing that makes the biggest difference there. And that's why it needs to be able to be controlled in some manner. Again, that remake and original FFT definitely had that problem where just suddenly a +1 speed item, caused the entire game balance to friggin' fall apart. And I know I harp on this way too much. But okay, original PSP TO, right? There was the best part is if you tried to go from friggin' end game, like let's say you just went through your very first time, and this was my personal first time experience with this whole thing. So like I just finished Hanging Gardens, just barely finished it, wound up with the same usual situation of just having class levels all over the place because I had to completely ditch about half the classes I've been using up to that point, right towards the very end, and just use unique characters like basically everyone did. And yeah, so I get to the end, go through, like, okay, look, this Palace of the Dead thing looks pretty cool, I'm gonna go through that. And about 7 floors in, because somebody had told me where to find the door, about 7 floors into this thing, it's just, I completely put away the game for like a year. Because it was literally just, oh, I'm gonna go move 1 unit. I'm like, okay, we're gonna take like 4 turns now, and petrify half your team, and charm the rest. So have fun with that. You don't get a turn, a-hole. You don't know the meta. How dare you not know the meta? What are you, some kind of scrub? And it does that so often, which is why I tend to like get a little bit annoyed when somebody says the original game balance was perfect. It was so horrible. Like, endgame balance on that one sucked. Knowing the meta to make it good and then it's no challenge whatsoever is not friggin' balance. That's called somebody had no idea how to balance it, so they just kind of put a bunch of crutches in there. Anyway, let's see when you fought 2 ACs at once in that room or training area. I don't know how to clip things. There's just like a little, those old Hollywood clickers? It's just one of those. I saw the little icon there on the video itself. So there's just a little option to clip. Whoa, that's a new one. Dude, look at that. Man, They're like going into the friggin' evil dimension over here. What the hell? Evil Ewoks. I feel like their friggin' movement or frames of movement got swapped around or some crap. That was bizarre. All right, but yeah, so probably gonna start heading out here in about a few minutes, I'd say. Just because I do have to go get some stuff going for that trip I mentioned. But yeah, if you're interested in participating in this mod, if you're interested in throwing your ideas out there, hell, if you just want to see how what kind of stuff is up to, what kind of stuff they're up to, maybe throw some random ideas their way. It's a very friendly place. So just so yeah, go by, say hi, see what kind of new stuff is going on. There's always fun conversations. If you just want to discuss the friggin' story, if you want to completely avoid all spoilers and just discuss the mechanics, if you just want to discuss something completely different, come on by, kind of thing. Just always good to have more people. Let's see how a sorceress chick over here does. See, there was a couple Ewok movies nobody knows about. I know there was at least one. I didn't know they made more than one. Okay, I haven't seen them using Cragfall before. Actually, random notes on the casters. I know that the Angel Knight move, I think it got changed to Megiddo, rather than one that I don't know if I can even say on stream because who the hell knows what'll happen. And wind up on some friggin' list or something, which I think was exactly the reasoning behind wanting to change it. I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remember going in like, yeah, Megiddo sounds pretty cool. That's what Golden Sun used. And it's like, yeah, that happens to be exactly enough letters. So perfect. Yeah, you know what? There's definitely a lot more AoE flying around. That's fun stuff. Let's see, we have a Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars Holiday Special. That one I know about. That thing was cringy. It was freaking cringy as hell if it's the one I'm thinking of. But alright. So yeah, it definitely feels like AoE is the name of the game right now. So it feels like casters, if you had a couple casters, definitely need to have more healers around. I mean, if everyone's getting AoE like this, definitely a bit of a different story than usual. I almost want to say with more AoE stuff, I wonder if it's possible to add a 6th member per party. Because that's, Because yeah, it feels like you need a little bit more to be able to balance it out a little better, because if you have 2 healers using AoE heals, it feels like it might be a bit on the way too strong side. But then again, yeah, if you're specializing in attackers, then you could just attack and retreat. Oh man, 3 AoE casters? God, that'd be laying down some friggin' hurt right there. Actually, let me see if I can disband. Here's disband. How do I disband? Now let's just go ahead and remove leaders, see if we can create some ultimate team here. Okay, disband them, disband you. Let's get Rick over here. Actually, let's get Butts in the team. Yeah, there we go. Butts the Knight. Rick, where are you at? Yeah, I think I can do Rhea, or both casters, healer, Butts, and yeah, that'll do it. Create team. Led by Butts, because he's been doing amazing. There we go, let's get Butts in here. You're going to be down in the very front. So he's got his slashes. Mr. Wizardlington, I want to see Evocation, so I want to see what that does. Cleric looks like, yeah, you've just got your basic heal, so it might be 8 that does it. I'll find that out. That's why I want to have him here. Let's have you doing your abilities in the second row. Part of their idea that they specifically mentioned was to be able to see more units doing different things in different rows. Stick you in the front, I think. It's kind of a janky looking unit, but whatever. See how this goes. And Butts, there we go. See how this team does. See what Evocation does, and yeah, if they end up leveling up and then they get an AoE heal out of that, then we'll know it's level 8 that switches them over. That'll be good to know. Yeah, one of those things I just absolutely adore about this game is the fact that all of the models are actually done. So if you give them a new item, they'll actually go and use that item. It's neat. It's really nice. Okay, so Evocation seems to be their big power move. So single target power move in the back, and then they've got their elemental AoE in the second row. Gotcha. Makes sense, makes sense. Let's go ahead and turn off these animations real quick, because this guy with his friggin' whip is taking forever. Slash, 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 cleave, etc. If you're wondering what element everything does, it is assigned based off, well, you can tell based off the color. So there we go, they got a level up. Now let's see if they can suddenly AoE. I could go into the menu and take a look, but no, that's dumb. AoE is for dumbs. It also might be based off intelligence level too, because that's what it used to be in the past. Alright, let's see. Are they gonna do it? It's possible. Oh yeah, you can... Dragons are pretty tame for this series, I gotta say. Like, if you want to see all kinds of crazy crap going on, there's plenty of all kinds of crazy crap going on. You got dragons, you got grivens, you got appendicuses. Appendicuses? I think it's appendicuses. Whatever. They're kind of like cockatrices, but also kind of like these... Whatever. Man, Mr. Vale's gonna punch me in the face for, not knowing exactly what they do. Anyway. Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff. You got crazy zombie dragons and crap. Seriously, it's great. It's like basically every single crazy thing. Like, you know how when they had the Dark Souls guy, like when they had Miyazaki coming around, they're like, "Hey, how'd you come up with all this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just went and misunderstood a bunch of random myths from when I was a kid." It's kind of like that. It's basically what Ogre Battle is in a nutshell. It's the same kind of idea. Like, take everything that went on in Dark Souls and just expand it to the entire world. And that's basically what you got Ogre Battle right there. Okay, so these guys leveled up a whole bunch. Are they AoEing yet? Not quite. So he's getting his big AoE in the back row. She's still doing basic heal. Yeah, I think it might be unique to what's-her-face. Atrita or whatever. Atrita? There we go. Yeah, it's just basic healing that she's doing. I think it might be time to go check out that character sheet and see what we can find in there. But alrighty then. So I think that'll about sum it up for now. Again, apologies for the weird timing, that like the one version that has a weird visual glitch is, of course it's going to be the one that I end up using. Naturally. But either way. You know, I'm hoping some folks will go by and go give this one a little bit of a peek. Definitely one of the big interesting things going on right now. Bear in mind, there's also a Discord for the One Vision mod as well. So both One Vision and Hammerfall are currently. I know, Hammer 2 Fall. I just like calling it Hammerfall. Both are currently in development. Both regularly take advice, and they're both very friendly places. So you know, I'll be sure to include Discords to both. So yeah, you know, series may not exactly be living in the mainstream too much, but god dang it, we can still make it survive through mods. And hell, I don't know how to mod worth a crap, but I can still talk about it. Maybe get some people to go look at them. You know, maybe get some people to actually try the game out way the hell later than it should be. God dang, I love this series. Have you tried RetroArch? Yes, I have. Surprisingly, RetroArch is not super great at emulating this one. Unfortunately, RetroArch on the Vita is what I was hoping would be able to emulate it. But N64 emulation on the Vita is currently limited to Daedalus 64, which unfortunately, like, it's competent at what it does, but it's kind of also a load of hot garbage. Actually, technically, it runs. That's the weird part. Technically, it runs. However, it's a situation where, like, everyone looks like they're coming out of the shadow dimension there. Like, it's just friggin' shadows all over the place. There's no models. You can see the backgrounds. It's like the exact opposite of what's going on with the mod right now. Holy crap, wait a second. I wonder if they might be able to fix that. Whatever's going on with this, if they can just, like, shove whatever's going on here and mix it with the bug that's going on the friggin' Daedalus version, man, then it actually could work on a Vita. That'd be pretty darn dandy. But yeah, so, I don't know. I'll ask the modding folks, maybe they know. Maybe there's actually a way to make it function on Daedalus in order to allow it to work properly. The funny part is, by the way, sorry for the random noise, just opening this random envelope that came in. So yeah, that might be an idea. I'm gonna have to talk about them. Let's see, Potato is currently doing a rocket-only run of AC1. Yes, I am. And that's me. I am Mr. Coffee Potato Man. Yeah, if you're wondering about the name, I just really friggin' love coffee, and I come from a place that is known for its potatoes, so just kind of went with Coffee Potato. I think it came up as just like a random joke nickname once, and then I had a symbol that I ended up drawing as a kid that was a coffee cup on fire, with a little bird that looks like a potato, and so ultimately it just all kind of came together as that. So there's that. But yeah, so yeah, the weird part is, if you're using Daedalus, that's the one for PSP and Vita. Like, it does technically work. Mechanically, you can go through it. If you try to turn on the sound, it crashes. If you try to turn on some of the advanced emulation functions, it crashes. I can't figure out what exactly causes the shadow issue. I've never not been able to use the shadow issue. I've tried running overclocks to see if maybe it was a timing thing, but it wasn't that. So again, it's like the exact opposite of what's going on here, like where you can see the background, but you can't see the characters' actual models. They aren't showing up as like the ground shadows. You just see the outline of all your characters as a weird silhouette. So like, you know the Mr. Game & Watch guy? It's like everybody's that guy. Mechanically, it can still work. Like, it still functions. You can still play the game, you can still save, and then during cutscenes, everybody comes in as a weird polygonal mass, and you just kind of gotta hope that it'll somehow function. And yeah, you can never set it up on standby or allow it to go to sleep, because your game will die. So, it's not ideal. So right now, like, for the Ogre battle fix on the go, I typically just play One Vision, sometimes go for OB hard type, and then, yeah. Actually, lately been kind of obsessed with Borderlands 2, which, interestingly enough, I'm kind of curious if it had an Armored Core reference. This is completely unrelated to everything, except for AC. But yeah, there's this one bit where you find an AI core, and then you put it into a big floating dolphin thing. It tries to kill you, and then you put it into a mech, and then it tries to kill you, and then you try to put it into a giant wall socket, and then it tries to kill everybody by playing really bad music. And then it turns into a gun that says, die, 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 all the time. And I don't know, it made me wonder if it was a 9-ball reference. Because it's like, the first thing looks like Phantasma, the second one could, if you squint, kind of pass for the 9-ball, or the AC1, well, not the AC1, the kind of MT version of 9-ball. And then he gets shoved in a big old wall unit, and then he just says die, die, die a lot. I mean, It's a bit of a stretch. It's pretty unlikely, and it's almost definitely not the case, but I just couldn't help but notice that yesterday. Because somehow despite having that game for years, I've never noticed that one. Any darn ways. So yeah, different emulators emulate differently, definitely. But yeah, Armored Core is freaking awesome. It's one of those series that unfortunately attracted so many toxic individuals over the years that very few communities still exist. I will say, unfortunately, the Facebook page has the most people. It's kind of... people mostly just kind of lurk there. It's not exactly a great place. You have one for like the later versions, the ACD2, but there tends to be a lot of like kind of college-esque. Everybody's just kicking each other in the dick. It's hilarious kind of nonsense going on there. So it's a lot of, oh yeah, somebody came in, let's insult the hell out of them. Oh well, they couldn't take a joke kind of stuff. It's just not. It's not conducive to a happy community. I know that sounds like a very hippie thing to say, but whatever. And then there's Royal's Discord, which it's Royal Angel. He has done a pretty fantastic job of keeping that place positive for a couple of years now. I'd say overall, like, I know that to some folks it might seem a little, too safe there, but it's been very nice. I mean, we still hold regular like multiplayer different tournaments and all that kind of thing. People will actually go and regularly do the multiplayer stuff through there. There's a pretty constant stream of different content coming through, and yeah, overall it's been a pretty darn positive place. So it's good to see now that my two favorite series, which were always Armored Core and Ogre Battle, both of them, both of them have growing communities at this point, which I'm just really glad to see. So, may not be the best at everything, but hell, if I can take my hobby of challenge runs and turn it into a little bit of positive growth for both of them, at the very least I can be a mouthpiece for some stuff, so it's just great to see, It's just great to see, mods coming out for everything. In fact, if AC could get some modding going, that could definitely help out over there. But either way, thank you guys. It's really great to see that this has gotten to 500. I never expected it to, I never expected TO to be able to get this far. Truth be completely told, because again, you mentioned the series, who's ever heard of it? That's the problem. So, it's great to see this stuff. It's great to see that we've got some active modding going on, and yeah, great to see that we still have fans out there. So you have a great day. I've got to get going. I got a crap load of stuff to get done in the next hour, so better get on that. And yeah, you have a fantastic day and fantastic week or so here. I'm probably going to be out for a little while. I'm going to go stuff my friggin' face with all the turkey ever. If I haven't done that already, man, I'm going to friggin' explode from the inside. Anyway, you have a fantastic one. Take care. And thank you all. Hopefully we can get to 1,000 now.